Good evening, everyone. Very good evening. So, my name is Ashutosh Kumar Singh, and on behalf of Vardaan Academy, I welcome you today in our class. So, specifically, I will let you know that this class is in English. So, those who are looking for a Hindi class, you will have to wait or you can join the offline classes. But for all those students who are here only for online classes, if you're looking for a Hindi language class for this, you will have to wait for a week. And in a week I'm going to start for Hindi language. Okay, so this class is going to be in English, and we are starting, or you can say we are continuing with the Delhi Sultanate. Okay, as you can go back and you can see the previous videos, we have already done the first dynasty of Delhi Sultanate. The first dynasty of Delhi Sultanate. Just give me a minute. Okay, so we have already done the first dynasty of Delhi Sultanate, the Gulams. Okay, the slaves you can call, and we are today going to do the Khilji dynasty. Okay, now we are going to do this Khilji dynasty. This is the first class. This is the part one, and today we are going to have an introduction to the Khilji dynasty, and we will mostly read about the early sultans, and then we are going to move forward to Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji is a center piece for the Khilji dynasty. Okay, so we will study more about him, but we will have a brief introduction today. This will be a three part session for Khilji dynasty, specifically for Alauddin Khilji. Okay, so those who are here for the first time, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. You will get the one of the best videos you will get on history and other topics like GK, GS, and current affair continuously provided to you. Okay, all those students who are in school like 7th class, 8th class, 10th, 12th, and they are doing they are like doing the humanities. They have taken the stream humanities, and they have to study all these history and all. So you can also follow our channel, because I'll be providing you a very class specific courses and classes for you, so that it will be very helpful for you, not only for studies uh, and future goals, but also for your board examinations. Okay, just just don't forget to let me know that you are a student uh, from a school and you want to do a course wherein you want to cover the NCERT syllabus, and we will do that for you. Okay, so without wasting any time, we are going to start with the Khilji dynasty. So as you know, we have already done, let me move myself to the corner. Okay, so we have already done the slaves, right? We have already done the slaves. Okay, and in slaves we saw few important things. Even though we went through all the sultans that were a part of the slaves, starting from 1206, the slaves ruled until 1290, right? 1206, Kutubuddin Aibak was the first sultan, and you can say Kakubad, or his son Kayumar. Kakubad was the last sultan. Okay, so he is last and he is first, right? And in between we went through lot many sultans who came for a small period, for quite a long time also, and majorly there were four that we studied about. One was Aibak, second was Iltutamish. Okay, Iltutamish. Then we studied about Razia, Razia Sultana. Okay, and then we saw about Balban, Balban, right? So what did we notice in the slaves, in the slave dynasty? What did we notice? So see, till Iltutamish, you can say, not even Iltutamish, but throughout this slave dynasty, you can see that mostly you will not see that the son of the king is the next king, right? So this theory is does not exist during the slave dynasty, right? Or you can say throughout the Delhi Sultanate, you will not find this to be very predominant. Okay, but now we are moving forward to the Khiljis. Okay, now we are moving forward to the Khiljis. Okay, now in Khiljis, we are going to study about few kings, okay, few sultans. I will write the names here. See, Khiljis ruled for the shortest period of time. So this is a question that is asked in the examination. Shortest period of time. Okay, that was only for 30 years. Only for 30 years Khiljis were there to rule. Okay, that was from 1290 where the slaves left and till 1320, because in 1320 you will see a new dynasty will pitch in with the name Tughlaqs. Okay, now in Khiljis we are going to study about Jalaluddin, Firoz Khilji. Okay, the second we are going to study about Alauddin Khilji. Okay, then we are going to study about Shihabuddin Shihabuddin Omar Shihabuddin Omar. Then we are going to read about Kutubuddin Uddin Mubarak Khan. Okay, and at the end we will see a Hindu ruler coming in. His name was Khusro Khan. Don't get confused by the name, because by birth Khusro Khan was a Hindu. Okay, chalo. Let's see the time period for them. Jalaluddin will start in 1290 and will rule until 1296, when eventually he will be killed by his own nephew Alauddin Khilji. And Alauddin Khilji will start in 1296 and he will rule till 1316. That is for 20 years. So out of the 30 years of Khiljis, 20 years is for Alauddin. Okay. Then we are going to see about Shihabuddin Omar. He will be there only for 6 to 8 months. So I'm just going to write here 1316. Okay. And Kutubuddin Mubarak will start in 1316 and he will be there till 1320. When in 1320 you will see Khusro Khan will come in picture and he will rule for a small period of time, like 4 to 5 months, and eventually he will be deposed by the Tughlaqs. Okay. I hope we are clear till here. Okay, so till now, till now, we saw a few sultans, and today we are going to keep our focus to Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji. Okay. Now Alauddin Khilji ruled from 13, sorry, 1296 till 1316. Okay. Now he is the nephew of Jalaluddin Khilji. Jalaluddin Khilji, the founder of the Khilji dynasty, he started the Khilji dynasty, and Jalaluddin Khilji overtook the power after Kakubad. Okay, now what happened is Jalaluddin Khilji was killed by Alauddin Khilji, his own nephew, and his son-in-law also. Okay, because Alauddin Khilji married Jalaluddin's daughter. Okay, so Alauddin Khilji was not only the nephew of Jalaluddin Khilji, but also he was son-in-law of Jalaluddin Khilji. Okay, keep this in mind. Now let's see a few general information about Alauddin Khilji. Okay, so he was born in 1266. Okay, so he was born in 1266, and he was born at a place named Sirsa. Okay, so this is the birthplace. Birthplace. Remember this. Now, when Alauddin Khilji was there with Jalaluddin Khilji, first he was given the post of governor. Okay, But where? He was given the post of governor at Kada Manipur. Kada Manipur. Today's Allahabad, you can say. Okay? Kada Manipur. So this is a question that has been asked in examination. The first post that was held by Alauddin Khilji was so the governor of Kada Manipur. Okay? Remember this one. Now there is one more fact that you have to remember, that where where exactly he was declared as the king. So his Rajyabhishek, his Rajyabhishek was done at the Lal Bhavan. At the Lal Bhavan. Who built this Lal Bhavan? Who built this Lal Bhavan? Lal Bhavan was actually built by Balban. So if you remember Balban from the slave dynasty, so it was built by Balban, and this is the place where his Rajyabhishek was done, of Alauddin Khilji's was done. Okay, so this is 2 or 3 points that you can remember in your mind, because these are useful for you, and you have to keep it in mind because anytime any question can come through it. Okay, then we are going to see what's his real name. Okay, what's the real name of Alauddin Khilji? This is a very important question because this has been asked so many times in examination. Okay, the real name of Alauddin Alauddin Khilji. Okay, so the real name of Alauddin Khilji was Ali Goshash. Ali Goshash. Okay, remember this because this is again a very important point that will be asked to you in one-day examinations like SSC and SSC, or you can say RO examinations, ARO examinations. Okay, all such examinations wherein you will see the static and history is asked to you, especially the medieval history. Then you have to remember this name because Alauddin Khilji is one of the most important ruler in the time period from 1206 till 1526, that is of 300 years. He is one of the most important ruler, and you will be asked a lot many questions, and that's why we are going to read about Alauddin Khilji not only in depth, but also we are going to keep covering the different points. Okay, so let's see about few more points. Let's see what are the other names. What are the other names of Alauddin Khilji? Okay, the other names of Alauddin Khilji, or you can say the other names. So first thing that you have to remember, his real name. His real name was Ali Goshash. Okay, Goshash. Remember this point. His name was Ali Goshash. This was the real name. Now, he was also called India's Napoleon. India's Napoleon. Okay, so if you remember, he had the same strategy to rule, just like Napoleon. Uh, Sorry, he is not called India's Napoleon. He's called India's Samudragupta. I'm so sorry. He is called India's Samudragupta. India's Samudragupta. Okay, so he's called India's Samudragupta. Why? Because he is going to have a similar policy to rule and expand his empire, just like Samudragupta. Okay. Now he is also known as India's Bismarck. India's Bismarck. So if you remember about Bismarck, okay, you will very well know about Alauddin Khilji. Okay, so one of his name is India's Bismarck. Who gave him this name, India's Bismarck? This was given by Ashar, Ashirwadi Lal Sharma. Ashirwadi Lal Sharma. So who is Ashirwadi Lal Sharma? He is a historian. Okay, and he calls Alauddin Khilji. Very good evening, Amit. Very good evening. He calls Alauddin Khilji India's Bismarck. Okay. Then there is one more name for him. That is Sikandar-e-Sani. This is the most important one. If you have seen the movie, then you will very well know about this. Sikandar-e-Sani. Okay. Sikandar-e-Sani means the second Alexander. The second Alexander. So basically, Alauddin Khilji actually wanted to rule the world. He actually wanted to rule the world, just like Alexander. But you will see that after uh, winning most of the India, uh, he was stopped out from winning the world by his one of his friend. Okay, so this is also another question that we will see in some time, because this is also asked in question, that after whom uh, this Alauddin Khilji dropped the idea of winning the world, and he constrained himself in India. Okay, and he is also known as India's first Muslim Muslim emperor. Emperor. Okay. Now, who calls him India's first Muslim emperor? Ram Sharan Sharma. Okay, Ram Sharan Sharma. Okay, so Ram Sharan Sharma calls him. He is also a historian. Okay, don't get confused. Ram Sharan Sharma is also a historian. Okay, so Ram Sharan Sharma calls him India's first Muslim emperor. So see, before Alauddin Khilji, everyone is ruling only in the northern part of India or in the western northern part of the India. But he is the first king. He is the first sultan who is going to expand his kingdom till South India. Okay, and he is going to invade South India, you can say. Okay, so that's why Ram Sharan Sharma calls him India's first Muslim emperor. Okay, but if you are asked who is known as the first emperor, then you can name very clearly whom? The great Ashoka. Okay, Ashoka the Great is known as first emperor of India, and the first Muslim emperor is known as Alauddin Khilji, and who gave him this name? Ram Sharan Sharma calls him India's first Muslim. Okay, all right. I can understand you can't see here what's written behind me. I will just move myself so that you can see what I have written here. Okay, so that's India's first Muslim emperor. Ram Sharan Sharma calls him India's first Muslim emperor. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Chalo. Now let's move on. Let's move on, and we are going to see, after getting these names, we are also going to see about few historians. As I said about the historians, okay. So we will see about few historians and what names they have given to Alauddin Khilji. Okay, so historians. So let me change the color of the ink. Let me go with white for some time. Historians and their ideas or thoughts about Alauddin Khilji. Okay, their idea or thoughts about Alauddin Khilji. So first we will see about Muhammad Hasif. Muhammad Muhammad Habib. Okay, Muhammad Habib is one of the historians. Okay, and he calls Alauddin Khilji's tenure or rule to be the start of political political history of India. Okay, so this name, political start of political history of India, is given by Muhammad Habib. Okay, then remember about Ram Sharan Sharma. Ram Sharan Sharma. Okay, so I just told you about Ram Sharan Sharma. He calls him to be India's first Muslim emperor. Okay, so he's not calling him Sultan, he's calling him emperor. Okay, then we can see about Ashirwadi Lal Sharma. Ashirwadi Lal Sharma. Okay, Ashirwadi Lal Sharma calls him India's Bismarck. India's Bismarck. Okay, India's Bismarck. And we will see about Smith. What does Smith has to say? He calls Alauddin Khilji's tenure or his rule or his kingdom to be the most disgraceful, disgraceful rule. Okay, he calls it to be most disgraceful rule. Okay, remember these four people: Muhammad Habib, Muhammad Habib, Ram. I will just write here with a little gap. Ram Sharan Sharma. Then Ashirwadi, Ashirwadi Lal Sharma and Smith and Smith. Now, if you see very clearly, Muhammad Habib, it's Habib, okay, it's Habib. Muhammad Habib, Ram Sharan Sharma, Ashirwadi Lal Sharma, and Smith. See, Ashirwadi Lal Sharma, remember Bismarck. He calls him India's Bismarck. Okay. Ram Sharan Sharma, he calls him to be India's first Muslim emperor. Okay. Remember this point. He calls him India's first Muslim emperor. Then Muhammad Habib. Then Muhammad Habib. Muhammad Habib calls his tenure to be start of political history. Start of political history. Okay. And then Smith calls it to be the most disgraceful rule. Disgraceful, graceful rule. Okay. That's most disgraceful rule. So remember these points and remember these four names. These are four historians who have studied about Alauddin Khilji and they given their own comments about his rule. Okay. Okay. That's about it. So you may get this question specifically in the PCS examination. They can or IS examination or PCS examination, that is UPSC and UPPSC, because you can very clearly know here that who has given which statement. Now what will happen in the examination, they will give you a statement and they will ask you who called who called Alauddin Khilji as India's first Muslim emperor. So you should be very clearly you should be able to name Ram Sharan Sharma was a historian who gave him the name India's first Muslim emperor. Okay. Now, because there are four historians, major historians who have studied about Alauddin Khilji, and they have given their thoughts about Alauddin Khilji. Now, what will happen is get you may get a question wherein you have to pair the points with the historian. Okay. Okay. So you will see the names have been jumbled up. So are the reasons or so are the names given by them, and then you will be given a options at the bottom and you have to match the correct options. Okay, so this is a type of questions that can be asked in your examination, so you should be very clear about it. Okay, now let's get back to our white color and then we will see who are the important Sardars, or you can call them to be the governors of Alauddin Khilji. Okay, so of course, Alauddin Khilji is not going to rule directly, right? He is going to have someone who are going to rule on his behalf, who are going to uh, do the expeditions on his behalf, who are going to rule, who are going to win different empire for him, and who are always going to do different kind of wars. And if you remember, I told you that Alauddin Khilji almost went till the south. I will not say almost, he went till the south of India, right? He went till Gujarat on the western front. He went till Bengal on the eastern side, right? So he has a huge kingdom, and to run this, he needs different sardars, right? Different governors. And we are going to study about his five sardars, okay? And they are very important because you may get these names asked in the examination, okay? Now, first one is Nusrat Khan. First one is Nusrat Khan. Okay. Then we have Zafar Khan. Zafar Khan. Okay. Then we have Alp Khan. Alp Khan. Okay. Then we have Ulugh Khan. Ulugh Khan. And at the end we have Malik Kafur. Malik, and Malik Kafur is going to be a very prominent person for Alauddin, and after the death of Alauddin, he is going to be a key player. Okay. Now, one question remember about one person here, Zafar Khan. He is also known as India's Rustam. India's Rustam. Okay, so by any chance, if you get this question in your exam, who is known as India's Rustam? It's Zafar Khan. Okay, Zafar Khan is the person, is one of the Sardar of Alauddin Khilji, who is known as India's Rustam. Okay, remember all these points. Remember all these points. So we have covered till now. We have covered some basic details about Alauddin Khilji. Okay, some very basic details about Alauddin Khilji. His name, his real name. Okay, real name, his date of birth के साथ birth of place of birth, sorry, what I'm saying, place of birth. Okay, place of birth. Okay, then we have seen about the different historians and their views. Historians and their views about Alauddin Khilji, and then we saw about the different Sardars, the different Sardars. Okay, so we have covered all these points. There are five Sardars. We have covered this point also. Okay, but remember one point. Alauddin Khilji. I'm writing it here in very big. Alauddin Khilji and his market policies. Okay, this is one of the very important topic. Okay, so say if I am the examiner and I have to set one question from Delhi Sultanate, I am going to set it from Alauddin Khilji. Okay, he is that important Sultan. So remember this. So you have to be very focused about Alauddin Khilji. Okay, and keep continuing the classes. I'm going to schedule the second class tomorrow itself for Alauddin Khilji part 2. This is part 1. This is part 1 and part 2. What we are going to do in part 2? In part 2, we are going to see his expeditions to in all directions, not only in south, but his expeditions in all directions. Then we are going to see about his market policy. This is very famous, and this is a point from where you will get or see questions in your examinations. Okay. All right. So we will keep our class for first day of Alauddin Khilji till here, and tomorrow we are going to start with the victories of Alauddin Khilji, his expeditions to different zones or different regions of India, like Gujarat to northern part and to the southern part. Okay, all right. So thank you very much for watching the class and for giving me your time. I hope you must be having a lot of questions in your mind. You must be having a lot of ideas how we can make it much better and much more entertaining and much more informative for you. So if you have any ideas, don't forget to drop it in the comment section. Okay, and I'll be the first one to go through it and implement it. Because here we are going again with the democracy. I implement something, and until unless someone from the student, not even a single student, even if a single student says that it is not good enough, then I don't follow the same. Okay, so this is my policy that I have kept till now. Okay, so make sure that you are sharing your ideas that you have. And see, your ideas is not necessary that it's not necessary that your idea has to be with the topic. Okay, you can have any idea that you think. For example, you want me to change the color of the pen, you want me to change the background of the board, or you want me to remove the panel at the bottom. You want to have only the video on the screen, but you don't want to have me visible on the screen. But I'm fine with anything until and unless you are able to understand what I'm trying to understand and this topic is thoroughly covered for you. Okay? Chalo. Thank you very much for your time, and don't forget to like, subscribe the channel and share it with your friends. Okay? So thank you very much. Have a good evening, and I will see you again in half an hour at 8 o'clock with the current affair part 2 of March month, and we are going to start revising another 50 questions from the month of March. Okay? So take care until then. Take care. Have a good day.